recording now. So, yeah, okay, so, yeah, but that's, yeah. So I'll do the draw and window schedule using the legends to get the graphical version. So, again, right-clicking on legends, new legend, and we're going to call this window schedule. Schedule or schedule, I never had to know how to say it, but I think either is fine. And so then, if you go to, again, annotate tab, and then click on the down arrow on the component, go to ledger component, and choose the window you want. And so we'll start with the first one, I suppose, and place it. Draw in a fairly arbitrary reference plane, maybe, to get started. This will probably get traced over with a detail line, but for now, that's enough to then do a dimension from there to where we think the sill is. Have to look at the construction, so I'm going to then select that window in here, and the critical thing is that's still the family that the window comes from, so we can select that, right click, and go to select all instances in entire project, and it's going to go and select them back in the 3D model. So if we go now to the 3D view, then I'm orbiting there to see if I can find them. I know there are two because I can see in brackets here, it's got two in properties. And here they must be buried, yeah, there they are. Okay, so I found them. They're buried in there, but I know where they are now. And so those are actually on the floor. So there is no sill height for those, which makes it nice and easy. And we can also have a bit of a look at construction. So, so this one doesn't have an architrave, so that means that the point that I was dimensioning from needs to be adjusted. So going back to here, I'm just going to fix that dimension and drag it to the base of this, and then after all of that, sorry, I'm not thinking, it doesn't need the dimension anyway, because that's going to go down and sit on the reference plane, which is our ground line, and then I just need to look at the size, so and make sure that's right. So it looks okay, but I'll again just check that. So again, select all instances in entire project. I don't even need to go and look in the view now. I'm just going to check here the head height, which is 1978, and I might go to edit type just to make sure the size here is the same. So rough height 2058, 1978, and just need to make sure that is the one that's selected here. I'm sure it will be. Yes, 610 by 2058. Perfect. So that's the first one, and then we need to just have a reference that ties this to our full schedule. And here it can actually help, just as a temporary thing, to have the window type showing, and even family and type is a helpful thing. We'll remove it later, but for now, I'm just going to have it in the list, so I can clearly see which window is which, and so that's the one I've just been working with. So that's number 41. Probably not in a great place to make it window number 1. So as you're going around and fixing your window numbers, right, so you can go and tag them, and I'm sure you've all been doing this using tag by category, and I'll save it. So you generally want the windows to start the numbers, or have the numbers starting at the front of the building. But generally, as long as you have a consistent direction, normally you go clockwise, but there's no real rule there, as long as it's all the windows are numbered and it's kind of in an order. So these two obviously are 41 and 42, and they're both in opposite directions as well. So we'll fix that while we're at it, and I'll go and just re-tag that one to save me finding where it's going to go. And maybe I'll just tag a few others. So these are doors, and down here we've got some more windows, so tagging those. Now we can start to see if there's a logic we can use to number them. Again, another one that needs to be flipped. There's a good chance to sort those things out as well. And you can tell when your window numbers go on the wrong side. Another one, there we are. Another one's got to be flipped. And here, yeah, another one. Okay, so where do we start? Well, maybe we would start down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this would be maybe 9 and 10, and this would be 11. So. Oh, that's okay. No, they have different numbers. The window numbers and the door numbers are separate. Sorry? Yeah, and that's just the way it's done here with the tags you've got. The more traditional way would be to have a circle for a door with a D, and then windows normally a rectangle with a W. And then it makes it really clear. Yeah, that's what I use on mine, but it's fine if you use these as hexagon, as long as they're different. Hexagon and circles, okay? So, we know that they're 9 and 10, so now we can go and I would even think about making it, you know, W9 and W10. Problem is, you'd have to go and make the, edit the tag to make them fit in, if you're going to do that. So that's an option, you can definitely do that. You can't just edit the type, but you can look at the option that it's using here, so that's using shoe annotation tag window number. So if you go down to your annotations, and this is a good idea, I think. So in your families, annotation symbols, so shoe annotation tag window number, right click, you can go to edit, and then I'll just select that text, and there it's 2 mil, so I'll go to edit type and duplicate, and we'll make it 1.5, which is about the smallest people can generally read. If they've got bad eyes like me, I struggle anything below that. Even 2 mil actually, I struggle a bit, but yeah, that's my fault for looking at screens too much. And so I'll save this so you can get to it. But I don't want to save over maxes, so no, actually, so I'll leave you. If you want to try that, you can do the same thing I've just done. So I'm just going to keep loading the project without saving it. I'm going to load that into this project without changing the original file. So, so there we are. So now, if I go back to the legend schedule, then we can just put a note under this. So we just use text maybe to say this is window 9, comma, window 10. Good enough. That's pretty much it. And so then you just repeat that. Maybe I'll make the notes a bit smaller. And well, it's up to you how you want to lay that out. And then just continue on. So I'll try and maybe just do one more window that's at a height. So I might just go back to the plan view and check there. So maybe we'll start with this one that's probably going to be window 1. And God, the way these windows are displaying is pretty ordinary, but I'll live with it. So see window 1 pane with sill adjustable 2170 by 600, and it's got a sill height of 1800, which is perfect. So okay, so back to the schedule. So views here. Alright, so let's shove that over. Maybe oops, just to get some room and move the text over. Okay, so then back to annotate, legend component, and it was 2170 by 600, wasn't it? No, I've forgotten. I'll just check that. Doesn't hurt when you're doing this sometimes just to have a printout of the schedule next to you, or have, you know, if you've got a big screen, you can have both the windows open. Yeah. So yeah, 2170 by 600, so that was the right one. And Yeah, okay, so then I'll dimension again from the reference plane, and this one doesn't have an architrave definitely, so it's to the bottom of this. And what was it, 1800 cell height. Okay, then again, just some text to label the window that is. You can even put the window type in, but if you've got the schedule there, that should be pretty clear. That's it. So that just goes on the same sheet as your full window schedule. So I don't have a sheet for that, so I'll just make one. And so the window schedule in your schedules, let's check that. Mine's an absolute mess. Of course, want to tidy that up and put all the other things in, but I'll just put it on as it is. And yep, that'll do. And often it's not until you put it on the sheet that you know how big it's going to be and how you need to maybe adjust these columns to make it fit. And then the other schedule from your legends can just go above or below that. So if it's 1 to 100, it's actually fairly small. The nice thing about this, is if you decide it should be a different scale, it's easy to change that, and everything should adjust fairly well without you having to do too much. No, the annotation keeps the size, and that's the brilliant thing about Revit. In AutoCAD, this was a major bit of work just to change text sizes when you change your scale. So that's it. That's all there is to it. No, okay, so sorry, yeah, so I mean the dimension still makes it pretty clear, but if you want to make it super clear, then yeah, just do a detail line over it, just a dash. Yeah, yeah. So what's the measuring? Well, because the other one's at the floor level, so it doesn't have a sill height. No, the whole point is all the windows will have different sill heights. Yeah. So this window, that's the sill height at 0, whereas this window's 1800 sill height. Yeah, so then you might do a copy of it. Right, so here. Ordering. Oh, it just helps with the installation. And it's just, honestly, it's one of those old conventions. Someone had the idea 50 years ago or something, and people just decided to go with it. But I think you're right. I've actually done plenty of projects where I haven't done these graphical schedules. I've just done the tables and used that for ordering, and the rest they get off the other drawings. But it does help actually when I've done windows with lots of external shading, louvers, then it's good to have the schedule with the pictures to see that. That's the one time it's good. That's it.